Hi, Camel fans. Zach Burley here with Campbell men's soccer alum Tyler Young, who is the highest draftee in Campbell's soccer history after being picked up in the 2023 MLS Super Draft by Atlanta United. First of all, Tyler, I just want to say thank you for your time.
Thank you, Zach, for having me.
So I remember draft night. My eyes were peeled, of course, and my eyes were looking more for the guys who didn't have any more eligibility, as you would imagine. I was not surprised that you went, but I also wasn't looking for it necessarily. So I'm sitting there, I'm watching it scroll through, and then here I see Tyler Young, Atlanta United. For yourself, I'm sure you were kind of probably on the same loop where you thought you might, but you've got other eligibility. It wasn't do or die for you. Where were you at? How did you find out? What was that moment when you found out? Like,
Yeah, so I mean, it's still, in my memory very, very clearly. That night was a special night. I think the expectations going into it were sort of like you said, like, hey, I still have eligibility. I could still play for another year or two at Campbell. Um, there's still time for me to develop and all this. And yes, that was the case, but at the same time, I had done well the 2 years that I was able to play a full season in college, and I think I got a lot of exposure. So, we have that perspective as well going into the draft. And, I had been hearing from agents and different scouts about, teams being interested in me, but there was no real like sure, call that was like, hey, we want you, we're thinking about picking you up in the draft. I didn't go to the draft combine to get looked at by a lot of these MLS scouts. So there wasn't really like hey, oh, you're definitely going to be in it. So yeah, I think after that first round, that long first round, there was kind of just like a period where we were kind of scrambling because, after the first round, they cut it off and you have to watch the draft tracker. So I was having family and friends over, and yeah, as soon as the first round turned off, we were like, hey, get on your phones, hit the link, keep refreshing and see what happens. Um, and by the time we had gotten on our phones, like 2 minutes later, the two names had already popped up, and we're like, okay, this is going by fast. So yeah, we're just sitting there, and then like one of my friends actually got drafted right before me, Sean. And then so we were kind of celebrating that in the moment. We were like, hey, one of my academy teammates got drafted, and then all of a sudden, like my name popped up, and I was like, wait, what? I was like, because Atlanta had, I think they had given away their first round draft pick, and so um, there wasn't really, a presence from them in the first round. So we were like, okay. But then I saw my name for Atlanta United, and I was like, wow, this is like, I was speechless in the moment, but there was just a roar from everyone that just I mean, it was amazing. It was amazing. I had my uncle, he picked me up and he had me on his shoulder, kind of just jumping around. And yeah, it was a special night. And shortly after that, I mean, we kept watching the draft on the draft tracker to see if any of my other teammates and friends got drafted. And of course, some of them did. And then shortly after that, I was getting phone calls from Atlanta, letting me know about what preseason would look like and dates and all that. So yeah, it all happened really fast, but it was awesome to share that moment with my friends and family. So yeah.
having seen your family at games throughout the years, I know how loud they can be. So I would imagine that must have been an awesome moment. So the other thing that's fascinating to me is that that was Atlanta United's only draft pick. I mean, they
Yeah.
looked at everybody that was available and they said, we've got one. And they chose you. How does that make you feel that they looked at the board knowing that they only got one shot at it and they picked you?
Yeah, I think it was definitely a surprise. But I think that also means to me that they have a plan. Um, again, they did have a lot of picks that they could have gone for, and especially in the first round. I mean, normally teams, wouldn't give those away, but they did, and they took their chance on me in the second round, and you know, to our surprise, that was their only pick. And I think, yeah, for what it means to me is that they have a plan for me, and they can see that I have a bright future, and hopefully that I would be an impact for them, at some point for their club. So
Now, Atlanta United is a huge club, internationally, nationally. I mean, I was there for their 2018 MLS Cup championship. It's an amazing stadium, an amazing venue, amazing fans, amazing product on the field. For you, what's it been like just being around that? I mean, I'm talking about, you're on the training grounds of these first team places that are amazing facilities. What has that been like, kind of pinching yourself, saying like, yeah, I'm really here?
yeah, so I want to say that it's been a dream come true, and definitely a blessing from the Lord. Because I remember growing up playing for Carolina Rapids Academy, we would have to come down here and play Atlanta United's academy, and yeah, we would play on the turf field right next to the first team training field. And I remember, we would have that time before the game where they'd let us walk around the facility. They wouldn't let us go to the first team facility, but we could walk up the bleachers and kind of just look at the grass and check out the building and all that. And I remember we would always just take videos of it and be like, wow, like, if we saw Joseph Martinez or something, we'd be like, wow, that's Joseph Martinez. And then to now be at this point and having trained on the field for almost 2 months, I think that's been such a blessing, and a great opportunity for me to have this experience, and you know continue to grow, especially again with the facility and staff that they have there. They want to bring the best out of us to provide for the club, and help each other, win trophies. So yeah, it's been awesome.
Yeah, I remember that moment hearing after the draft that Carlos Bocanegra talking, and I was like, when he was talking about Campbell and talking about Tyler Young, it was one of those moments for myself. I was like, wow, that's it. Kind of made it all kind of sink home for me as well. I can only imagine for yourself being on the training field with such amazing players, one of which Thiago Almada. I mean, you could pick any of them; they're all incredible, and you've got to experience that. Thiago Almada, just in particular, for those watching, a World Cup winner. He's already scored 2 goals that would probably win Goal of the Year in any other league. He's an amazing young talent who is already, ever since he's joined the team, it's always been, oh, where's he going to go? When's he going to go? That's who you're playing with now. That's who you've been training with these past 2 months. For yourself, I mean, to be able to rub shoulders with that and to kind of, steel sharpen steel sort of thing, to see that level of player where you want to be and to be able to be on the field. What has that been like for you, being that there is such a high caliber of player that you've been training with?
Yeah, I think again, kind of what I was saying earlier, that it's been a quick transition to go from the college level and then play with a World Cup winner. I think it shows the not only the quality difference but the work ethic. I think just because he's shown that he's very talented, um, that should not, hover over his work ethic. I think he definitely puts the work in. He's always running around. If you watch the last game, even if he scored those 2 goals, like he was just constantly running around that game and asking for the ball and all that. And that's something that I admire about him. And for him to be at such a young age and to play like that is something special. So I mean, yeah, he's been a great example for me. And now that I've, kind of transitioned a little bit more to the second team and signed for the second team, it's still, he's still a great example for me. Even when I do get called up to play or train with the first team, he's still a great example to watch. And um, so yeah, he's a special player. So yeah.
And now you'll be, as you mentioned, signing with the second team and a great league with great quality, and then always the possibility of, as you said, moving up to the first team. So as you take this next step, you talked a little bit about the transition in college. The season's a couple months and it's kind of like a sprint, really quickly. Now you're kind of going to be settling into this is full time. You're not going to have to sit in on your philosophy class in between training sessions. You know what I mean? But what is that going to? I mean, how excited are you to kind of get into that, where this is now no longer this short sprint? It's a year-long thing. It's the big focus, and then you're gonna not only get to play with great players, but always have the possibility of moving up. What are you anticipating as you get ready for this season that's coming up in just a matter of weeks?
Yeah, so again, transitioning from college to the professional field is in soccer, you do have more time on your hands. Now, obviously, like you were saying, you're not, having to wake up early in the morning and go to 2 or 3 classes, or, night classes. And in between those classes, you have training at some point in the day. And then, you got to focus on getting yourself food and all that. And yeah, you're doing that in the span of 4 or 5 months, and it can be tough. But I think in the professional environment, it's more of um, a consistent, fast jog is what I would say, because the season's longer, but in between games, you have more time to rest and recover, because the games, I would say, are much more intense and the quality's higher and everyone's running, and you're working hard, um, and you don't have unlimited subs like in college. So if you for however much time you get in the game, you have to put 100% in. And so again, I think that aspect of the playing side of it is different. But outside of soccer, in the professional environment, you have lots of time on your hands. Um, so you kind of just have to find things to do, things that you like to do. Or for me, I'm still trying to finish my degree since I left early. So I'm taking classes. So that's one thing that a lot of people do when they get drafted, if they haven't finished school. So that's what I'm doing. And then obviously there's other things that I like to do outside of soccer. So I try and pursue that, considering I have lots of time after training, because we train in the morning. So about noon or 1 o'clock, you're kind of done. So you have the rest of the day to, yeah, just find something to do, or um, kind of improve yourself. So
Well, you've already got an example set for you by Campbell alum Jake Morris going on to Columbus Crew 2 and then winning MLS Next Pro in season
right,
number 1. So
right.
I hope there's a little bit of bragging rights on the line for you guys. It is a newer league, and I can't wait to see how things go for you in it. I want to talk a little bit about Campbell and your time there, of course. It was really a rocket rise to the top for yourself, joining the team, redshirting, and then just storming onto the scene. And that coupled with success for the program as well. For yourself, to now that you've kind of had a few months to separate yourself from all of those big moments and kind of look back, what do you want to say about your time there, and the faith that the coaches and the institution put in you, and then the platform that you had to go and make this jump?
Yeah. So I think it's been, once again, another blessing that the Lord had put in my life, and a period of time where I was able to grow, um, very fast. I think in that time there were ups and downs, but I want to thank Coach Fonder, Alistair, Wayne, and Tom Poole, who was previously there. Since I had committed to the school, I think they had seen something in me that a lot of people didn't, and they took their chance. And they even though I was redshirted, and even though the year after I was redshirted in 2020, COVID hit and, we couldn't play. I think they continued to uh, instill in me like a work ethic, and they helped me understand that, yes, I'm a talented player, but I got to work hard if I want to get to the next level. So, um, yeah, I did that, and it's obviously paid off. So, and I want to thank them for that. And again, it's still a shock to me that I only played 2 full seasons there, but and I worked for that, and I think a huge part of that is thanks to the coaches there. And again, it's a great school. I was able to make some amazing friends and teammates, and have just such a fun time that I honestly do miss. I do miss. But yeah, it's something that I'll never forget. So yeah.
Two more for you. First of all, I want to say the Colonial is blessed because they don't have to go up against Tyler Young, so they're missing out. That's all I got to say. But do you have a moment over these past years that really sticks out to you? It can be on the field, off the field. Is there a moment that you'd say was a favorite goal or a favorite assist, or it could be something you weren't even involved in, but something that just really sticks out to you during your time at Campbell? It's kind of the top of the list.
Yeah. To be honest, I don't think any goals or assists really stuck out to me, even though there were obviously some great goals that were scored and assists. But to me, the thing that stuck out the most was the encouragement from my teammates. I think that was again a huge part of what allowed me to shine at the program, is that they continued to believe in me. They wanted me on the field. They wanted me to impact games. They saw something in me, just like the coaches did. They felt that I could make it to the next level, and again, it was like every week. I was hearing things from teammates saying, "Hey, you know you have to play more, and you have to keep working because we feel like you can be a special player." Um, and to hear that from my own teammates who were, at the time getting more minutes than me, and doing that, like that was awesome. And I didn't take it for granted. I didn't turn my head, and I took that advice. And so I think, yeah, that meant the most to me over my time playing with the team. So
Now,
yeah.
you're not the first to do this. You're not even the only of your class. You were joined signing deals with Moses Mensah, who was drafted as well, and then Kimmy Amish, who signed with Nashville. And there's going to be ones after you that make this jump to the pros like this. For the people out there who will see this when it comes out, and it'll be out there forever. So people that'll see it in the future, the ones that the Campbell commits who haven't made it on the field yet, but committed, or some that are thinking about it but are years in the future, or anyone that's thinking about going into committing to college, whether it's at Campbell or not. What do you want to say to them about the journey that can be possible, and what it takes to do it? Because you've been that, you've been the commit and wondering what it's going to be like, to being the player, to being that offensive player of the year 2 times in a row, to being a draftee. You've done that. What do you want to say to the ones who will come after you about what it takes to do what you've done?
Yeah, so I think I don't I don't want to say much, but for me personally, I kept God first at everything. I think, whether it came to being on the field or off the field, that was my number one priority, and He's helped me, to get to this point, and He's been everything for me, and so that I give thanks to Him, um, like for everything. And so behind that, I would say, for guys that want to achieve a lot in the college scene, and want to go to the next level, it's got to take humility. That's a huge part of it. No matter how good you are, no matter how many goals you've scored and previously before college, no matter what team you've played on, like when you get to this level at the professional level, you realize that you can be a great player, but everyone else is a great player. And so you have to be humble and you have to work hard when you're told no, especially. I was told no a lot in my career. I was told no to um, you know, playing in games. I was told no that, I wouldn't be training, and I was told that, I wasn't good enough before college. I was told lots of things, but I think it really matters how you respond to that. Um, and so again, your response to negatives, your response to setbacks, is huge. Humility is huge. And again, I think just giving it your all, every day. It doesn't matter if it's rained, and the fields are extremely muddy. Doesn't matter, if there's been 3 lightning delays and you got to go back out and train. Um, it doesn't matter. Like every time you step out, you have to give everything. So for guys that are coming up and trying to get to that next level, those are huge.
That's awesome. And we're all so proud and excited, when I can only imagine throughout the whole of the Campbell community what it was like on that night to see them and to see their reaction to your success. So we're all very proud. Highest draftee in Campbell history, and definitely a foundation where there can be more after you as well. So first of all, Tyler, thank you for your time. Congratulations. We all can't wait to see what you do, and you always are welcome back on campus. You've got a home in Buies Creek.
Thank you, Zach. Appreciate it.
Thanks, y'all, for watching. Make sure to tune to all of our channels for other content. Thanks for your time.